Not many people talk about mistakes in watercolor. So, and I'm not talking about happy accidents. Happy accidents is a totally different thing. It's where you do a painting and something happens on the paper that's not intentional. One of the things that I did on my last video was I completely forgot to put in some windows on one of the buildings of the scene. Is it a big deal? Only if you allow it to be, but it's just one of those things, and I just carried on and almost forgot about it. Not a lot of people are going to look at your painting and say, well, that building has 6 windows, not 5, etc. Unless someone really knows that building. Maybe they've worked on the building, or there might be someone who put the windows in. I don't know, but not many people are gonna pull you up on the things that are wrong. So most of the mistakes, most of the mistakes in your painting, you know, and no one else. So it is what it is, and it's just one of those things that you can learn from, you can move on from, and maybe pay more attention in the next painting. By the way, if you stick around, I want to show you my very first, what they call watercolor happy mistakes, happy accidents. And this was done in my very first sketchbook. And so if you stick around, I'm going to share that with you. And so there's two things. There's happy accidents, and then there's mistakes. So completely different things, and hopefully I can share with you the difference. So you'll be able to get to see my very first, and this is going back to when I was 16, in my very first sketchbook, probably my fourth or fifth actual painting in watercolor. So I was still learning, and just trying to get my head around this thing called watercolor. It's raining again today here in the UK, so I was looking forward to getting out sometime and doing another plein air sketch, but I guess that's out of the question. So when it comes to mistakes in your paintings, it doesn't really matter too much, and don't beat yourself up when it comes to mistakes. I know that I make plenty of mistakes. Most paintings that I do these days, I can see where I could have improved, or something like the windows that I may have missed out. But it's not the end of the world, and that's one thing that sketchbooks are good for. And remember, it's just practice. And each mistake, really, what we need to do is celebrate each mistake, because each mistake we're getting closer to where we want to be with our painting. But you just got to enjoy those mistakes as well. If we take our mistakes, we look at them and we evaluate, and hopefully we can not make that mistake again. But like I said, for me, oftentimes when mistakes happen, it's just because of I've not paid that much attention. I've got carried away a little bit with the sketch, just enjoying it and enjoying the moment. And that's when I forget to look and see what needs to happen with the painting. So it's not the end of the world, and if you do have sketchbooks, then sketchbooks are really handy for practice and just getting those imperfect paintings done. Each time I do a painting and I see the mistakes, I just try a little bit harder the next time to do a better job, to improve. And that's all it is. We're all on this journey of learning, and the only way is forward. To help us improve or to see how far we've come with our paintings, it's a good idea to keep hold of all the old sketchbooks that we have. And this is, like I said, my 4th or 5th ever sketch. And you can see where I've added pen, and that's just run into the watercolor. So it's my first ever happy accident. And I kind of like the way that it looks. When I did it, I was quite excited about that. But yeah, it looks quite flat, but there we go. So I'd love to know your thoughts on mistakes. Something that maybe you've made a mistake with in painting. Is it a general thing, maybe just forgetting things out or getting things wrong? And one of the things that you can do, if it's something like buildings, then you can always make it into a whimsical building. So almost intentionally do the lines a bit wobbly. Just make things interesting and make it look like it was supposed to happen in the painting. And that's one thing with buildings and architecture. It sort of has to be sort of right if you want that sort of realistic look. Like portraits, if you get something slightly out, it just alters the way that the image looks. And that's one thing that I do like doing landscapes for, especially when you paint them from imagination. Nothing has to be perfect, and you can just have fun with it, and you're in control of that painting. But when it comes to buildings and portraits, then things have to be a bit more correct, a bit more accurate, if that makes sense. But I think my message is today that don't beat yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself. Each mistake brings us to, more perfect. Not sure whether that's the right way to put it, but each mistake we learn, we grow, and it's just about trial and error, and that's about it. So if you've got any suggestions for me what to paint, if you do struggle with certain elements of watercolor painting, just drop them in the comment section. I'd love to tackle that, maybe in a video, maybe in a painting. I'd love your suggestions, your feedback, maybe something that you do struggle with, and we can have a look at that together. But that's it. What I've started doing, I've had a book for a little while. So what I've started doing, it's almost like a think book. So I'm just writing down thoughts, impressions, things that I want to share with you. And if you've got anything to add to that, then drop them in the comment section. Just things that I can tackle in videos, things that I can share, and I'd love to help in any way that I can. But that's it. It's just a quick message today, just a quick video on mistakes and how we overcome those mistakes, from mistakes to masterpiece. And that's the sort of thing I'm looking at. Not that I do masterpieces, but I'm trying, I'm learning. And although I've painted for a long time, I still make mistakes. So you're not on your own. It's not something to worry about. And happy painting. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.